Hi everyone, Stu Corbett, your High River Fire Inspector here for another installment of Safety Tips at Home. And this isn't just for isolation purposes, this is all year round, especially today's tip. And you'll notice we're outside today. You know, with isolation it's nice to get outside and while you're practicing your safe distancing, but with your own family in the backyard, have a campfire. And what I wanted to go over was a few of the regulations in the fire bylaw that you need to adhere to if you're going to have that campfire, and then just go through some safety tips for you so that you can enjoy your fire safely. We are under a fire restriction ban in the area. That's for open fire burning, but campfires and backyard fire pits are still permitted. But there are a few things and a few guidelines you need to go through. You can see I have my fire pit here. I kind of set that up for today's purposes. Your fire pit must be a minimum of 30 centimeters in height, and you can see that's a little over 30 centimeters. Well, you can't see, but it is. It must have a 3-meter clearance from any structure, like a building or other flammables of a major sort, and you can see this is pretty well out, just generally speaking, in the open backyard. It's almost in the center. It's not near any structures, fences, or things like that. It's supposed to be 1.5 meters horizontally to any other obstruction or flammable, like bushes, fences. That's fine. It is also supposed to have a 3-millimeter mesh grate on it. Now, let's see if I can keep this targeted. And you can see that you've got ours on there, and that's a spark arrestor. And generally speaking, your fire must be maintained in control at all times. You can't have a blazing bonfire going more than about 1 meter above the fire. I would say that's starting to get pretty high. And this is just chugging along quite nicely here. Let's just see, I'll just check my notes. And oh yeah, 2.5 meters vertically above. So you shouldn't have your fire pit hanging under any trees or eaves or any structures for sure. One of the things that you notice here is the placement of the chairs around here. I like to encourage my fireplace users to try and keep 1 meter back. That's so that there's a good walking area around the fireplace to tend the fire and no one's going to trip. You know, little kids are notorious for running around when you're having a good time with the adults and sitting around the fireplace. And I've known of a couple of accidents where children, they sometimes tend to walk backwards without looking where they're going, and they've walked backwards into the fire, and that can create a very nasty situation. Oh, the other thing about what you're burning, you're supposed to burn clean burning fuels, i.e. firewood. I'll show you some things that are not permitted. Construction materials, old fences, anything that has paint or stain on it is not permitted. It actually creates toxic smoke. And also there are some provisions in the town bylaw about the enjoyment of your neighbor's property. If you're burning a smoky fire and it's going right into their windows and their bedroom windows, that's clearly a violation of the enjoyment bylaw. So you might be asked to put your fire out if that's the situation. But I think everybody should just try and be courteous and considerate of their neighbors. Let's have a look at a couple more things. As you can see, I've got my clean burning firewood down here. I've also got a nice adequate poking tool, which I use, which helps me keep away. You might want some mitts so that you can move your mesh if you're adding firewood to it. Here's a really important thing. Use the proper fire starter. Whether it's solid or a liquid fire starter, use fire starter. Do not ever use gasoline. It is incredibly explosive. You can't control it. Just don't even think about it. You shouldn't be using fuels other than fire starter. Fire starter is designed to burn slowly and to light your fire effectively. As I mentioned, old fence boards, deck boards, and garbage materials, not for the fireplace. Pressure treated construction materials or even construction materials, not permitted. Toys around the fireplace, not a good spot for toys. Keep them away. Same thing with bicycles and other little kids paraphernalia that you can trip on or kids might get a little bit excited playing with. Not good. And if you're cooking, which is what your fire's sometimes permitted for and what we use it for our hot dogs or our marshmallows, and use your proper implements. We've got some nice long sticks here, and you should always have readily available, doesn't have to be running, but you should always have available an extinguishment source. A garden hose is perfectly, well, it's really excellent actually, but even a bucket of water or something like that. Well, I hope you can enjoy your campfire safely. It's not onerous, it's just being, using a lot of common sense around the fire, and have a safe fireplace and burn with your family. And remember, when you go to bed at night, extinguish your fire. Don't leave it burning and just think, oh, it's in the pit, I'll just burn it down. It can still give off sparks and ashes and things. And for the courtesy of everyone around, use your hose, extinguish your fire, go to bed, know that it's safe. All right, everybody enjoy and make it safe, happy, and stay well.